Hello everyone and welcome once again to the 2022 Birdie Open Presented by Gatekeeper Media. This is a PDGA A-Tier. We are back here at the Iron Hill Disc Golf Course in Newark, Delaware. Run Productions bringing you this coverage. I am Felix.
And I am Conrad.
Conrad, we're here on the back nine. We saw quite a bit of a tight battle in the front nine. What can we expect to see on this back half of this course?
The back half does not really let up. There's a lot of par fours, a lot of par fives, a lot of trees to get in the way. And don't forget, we're at Iron Hill, so you can definitely find some rocks.
Absolutely. This course, very well known for that unique feature. We start things off here on hole 10, one of those par fives you were talking about. 615 feet, a very tight left turning shot off of the tee here. You'll see mid-ranges, even some putters, some fairway plays trying to get to where those rail ties were on the initial drive here. Your second shot brings you up this gauntlet of trees. Just staying in the center here is a premium. There will be some birdie looks here. Eagles are almost out of the question as it takes a big tee shot to get yourself in that position. But this is one that can definitely be gotten for the birdie with a couple of good executed shots.
We have Michelle here.
More hyzer than that.
And the trees listened and hyzered it for her back to the fairway.
She's constantly talking to her disc. I'm glad they sometimes listen.
So Emily have a pretty strong front nine, played relatively clean. This looks like a very good shot here from her, and
Oh, that's perfect.
absolutely perfect. Couldn't have placed it any better, just past those rail ties there to help with erosion on this course. We did have some weather come through here a couple days before, so there's normally a little bit of mud in those areas, but these ladies are pushing past that area there nicely.
And Margaret landed in a similar area, but she has a different gap that she's going to have to go through. Michelle did not make it through that gap that we're speaking of.
Yeah, it dropped you straight down where it hit. We should probably stop going for the weird routes.
And you see here Emily, the straight gap in front of her, just has to beat that one tree in front of her, taking the hyzer line, pushing it nice and wide, just needs to control the skip coming in here, and checks up nicely.
And she should have options of whether she wants to go forehand or backhand.
And if you saw the front nine here, you know she's very well versed in either shot.
Mm-hmm.
Nice high spike hyzer here for Margaret, and that stays relatively clean on the left-hand side of the fairway.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And it sounds like Michelle made it back to the fairway, but
Not quite. She's in like that little cutout there.
Yeah, there's a little path.
Yeah. She needs to beat those. Oh, she's going left side.
And I think she was trying to go down the path,
Didn't.
but it came out a little early. So she's just stayed on the left side of this hole the entire way down, slowly making progress.
Yeah. Margaret here with her third, trying to get herself in position for a birdie look. Gets a little bit of a yank on the right side, and it fights through a bit.
I think she'll have an obstructed putt with those little trees and leaves in the way.
Like that. Nice. Great shot.
Michelle finally finding it to the fairway where she has an open look at the basket. And Emily's opting for her forehand here. I'm excited to see this.
A little bit of fade. Very
All
nicely
right, yeah.
done. And she's going to have that left for her birdie look.
At first I thought she had it turned over just a little bit too much, but it worked out.
She's throwing some kind of Castoplast glow disc there on those shots.
Ooh.
Nice bid there for Michelle.
Yep.
Long look here for Margaret. Has one tree to beat,
Okay.
get around, and she'll be fine there, taking a par.
She had a better look than I thought she was. To those limbs.
And there's the birdie. Very nicely done for Emily. Played that hole beautifully.
We have Michelle Frazer here. Tap in there for her double.
Tough hole to start your back nine. Hole actually averaged exactly 5.0, so played exactly to par for the women's division.
And for those just tuning in, this is a division of 6, and that's why we have 3 on this card and 3 on the chase.
So Emily getting the birdie there, distancing herself a bit from her card mates here. 5-stroke advantage so far.
Hole 11 is a par 4 coming in at 475 feet. This is, I would say, a generous gap off the tee, although as you get to the landing area, it does tighten up just a bit. You want to get through these initial trees that are in the fairway. Then you'll have a slightly, again, more favorable open look to get to the green than other holes. Don't get me wrong, there are trees everywhere, but this is a little bit generous compared to what we've seen on other holes. Once you get to the green, it's fairly open. Okay, find a way, and that is it's doing.
It's a lot of kicks, but
all of them forward.
Yeah, she ends up pretty much on the fairway, so left-hand side. Margaret testing this right side as well, wanting it to uncoil back to the left. Keeps moving forward and is well down there. Michelle also trying to test that right side. Gets this early tree hit though. Pushes her back towards the left. But again, as we spoke of, this is almost what you would quote-unquote call an open hole for this course.
Just about.
And this sneaks all the way down there as well from Michelle.
Now give her a circle 2 look.
Emily lining up the forehand here.
Different disc. I'm interested to. Oh, she's doing that.
I thought she was going up the right side.
Yeah,
gap
me
there.
too. That's why I was a little confused with the different discs there, but
Went for the hyzer line, just pulled it a bit much there. Margaret's had some really nice touch on these soft little turnovers all day.
Gotta put her at the circle's edge there at the rocks. Clear open look.
Emily trying to approach here to get herself in position for a par look at worst, and she fights through. And boy,
nicely.
oh boy.
Getting around those two guardians and putting herself basically in bullseye.
Yeah. She's shown great touch today on those shots, and it continues.
Michelle putting that under the basket.
Not to be a good layup.
Sounds like she was running it, but I think she'll take that.
Yeah.
There it is.
Nice birdie.
And the pose.
It's a good thing she cleaned off whatever was on that putter. It would have made the difference.
And yet another par for Emily.
Clean back half so far. Par for Michelle as well.
So as we said, one of the more open holes, a little bit more generous. We take 2 pars and a birdie.
Hole 12. This is a tight par 3 at exactly 300 feet from the FPO tee pad. This is a straight shot through a tight gauntlet of trees yet again. This one does tend to drop slowly downhill and a little bit to the right hand side as well. As you get closer to this green though, that slope increases and the probability of your disc rolling away becomes much greater. You have out of bounds on the right hand side in a very heavily guarded green with a lot of rocks that can play all kinds of games with your disc as it comes in towards the green. This one up the left side trickles through a little further than I think she thought it did.
Yeah. Margaret with the mid-range here.
Oh no, that is yanked to the right, and that has found the out of bounds on the right. Michelle puring this gap, a little left to right turn, fading back to the left hand side. Nicely done.
I'm pretty sure that was her classic rock. I think she spoke of during the first round.
And Margaret electing to re-tee. She did not like where her disc ended up at all, so she chose to go back to the tee. And this is turning into Bit of a nightmare hole here as she's clipped the tree off the tee once again. Utilizing that soft turnover that we've seen all day with that fan grip. Nicely done.
Mm-hmm. Still leaves her with somewhat of a death putt. Any putt going down this hill is considered that, as the rollaway potential is there.
Right there. Okay.
But it stopped for Emily.
Yes. Emily has a lot of hyzer on those long putts that could have easily rolled away.
Oh, I couldn't get the whole basket with the tree.
And Margaret does well to keep it to a double after having the re-tee there. Just a couple of tap-ins left here for Emily and Michelle.
Emily with a squash bag tap on.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
Bit of an improvised turbo there.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Obviously, she was comfortable with that. So this hole just decides to show a little bit of teeth with Margaret taking a double, everyone else walking off with pars. Hole 13 is a par 3 coming in at 360. We have another gauntlet of trees with a tunnel shot that you have to get down. It does go slightly downhill. You want to keep it straight for the most part until you get to about right here. You want to have it turning to the left. If you go too straight, there is OB on the road to the right. Other than that, you just need to stay clear of the trees, find the fairway, and get to the green. And another green that's fairly open compared to the others out here. That is
spectacular.
Yeah. Wow.
What a shot by Emily Hanson. She's well inside of circle one there. With
that's almost a bullseye. And that is, I was nervous for most of the flight, but it did everything perfectly.
That one gets a little bit of a double kick back over to the left-hand side there. And it is so tight on that left side. There's very small gaps that you can possibly hit. This looks pretty good. It just needs to drift left a little bit.
You wanted to come back left because there's right OB. And it does. Okay. She's in circle 2 with possibly a look at the basket. Ooh, Michelle's having to just play up and out just to get to the fairway, not really even attacking the basket here. But great placement shot here. Let's see her talk about this non-existent forehand. Let's see what she does with it.
Forehanding a putter, which is very touchy. Gotta worry about the action at the end of that, though, and it sits nicely for her.
Yep. So just outside the circle 1, it looks like.
Margaret with a long look here for a 2.
Ooh, oh, right line.
Mm-hmm. Just a touch short there, but sits nicely for her.
And there in the background, you can see a hanging basket that they also used, I guess typically not in tournament play, but for this whole, just a little bit more and it would have been in.
And Emily here after her incredible drive.
Yeah, this is for birdie. Oh, that was a little scary.
Almost bounced back out on her, though. That would have been a shame after that great drive, but a fantastic birdie there for Emily Hanson on hole 13. And that was the only birdie that we saw on this hole during round 1. Well done, Emily. Hole actually played 0.33 strokes above par.
Yeah. So that's definitely taking strokes on the field.
Hole 14, a little more friendly. This one is a par 3 at 300 feet even. Pretty wide gap initially here off of the tee. Forehands will work, backhands will work. Just want something that's going to relatively ride straight the entire length of your flight here, minimizing your fade left or right at the end here onto this green, which again is pretty open. Not much danger here. One last stump to kind of beat as you come into the green. One of these ladies should be attacking. Emily centering the gap, fading out a little bit early to the left-hand side, but she should be relatively clear on that side to attack.
Margaret gets a kiss off the tree that keeps her in the center of the fairway, but she still ends up going over to the left.
She Probably right near Emily. There's the Michelle spin. We haven't seen it all round.
That gets her down there. She's close to circle 2, if not in it.
Margaret with a long approach here. Puts it well inside of 15 feet. Michelle.
Ooh.
A little aggressive on that one.
A little juice.
Emily here with a long bid if she wants it.
She gave it everything. She gave it the height and the distance.
You see a couple of pars here. Margaret starting it off. Emily following suit.
And Michelle finishing off the party here on the card.
It's a good putt there by Michelle, especially since the other two had tapped out.
Yeah, and you can see it's kind of windy. There's a lot of movement in the trees there and the flag. So she captured the nerves and put it in.
Emily Hanson just 1 over for the round. Big shout out to our Patreon community. Check us out at patreon.com/AceRunPro. For as little as $3 a month, you can become an Ace Runner. Get access to exclusive content, early access to content, monthly and quarterly giveaways. Patreon.com/AceRunPro.
Hole 15 is a par 3 playing at 250 feet. It's going to play a little bit longer than that because you have to go uphill with this initial gap. Once you get past those initial trees, you will be able to approach the green, slightly guarded. Again, there's rocks all around.
Pretty straightforward shot.
Simple enough, yeah.
Probably one of the more simpler holes on the course. Do you think this hole played at par, above, or below?
I'm going to say at par.
It was close, but it actually surprisingly played above par.
Oh, wow.
At 3.17. So though it is 250, it is pretty tricky. This gap is a little tighter than it looks.
Oh. Oh.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, when you definitely want a second kick there.
Yeah. And those two initial trees are the ones that you have to beat if you're going to have any kind of success on this hole.
Yeah, you got to frame those up and penetrate, basically. If you get to them and get kicked one way or another, this is what you end up with.
Yeah, it's just once you're on that left side, it's a battle just to get back either to the fairway or if you're going to try to get to the green.
Oh, wow. I did not even know there was another basket down there.
Yeah. Nicely done there. As Margaret's done a very good job pretty much all around of minimizing whenever she's been in trouble. She's been able to kind of use those soft turnovers to get back into position.
And that's a skill that you really have to have on this course. We see Emily make great use of her scramble abilities to get to where she is now. And just with this course being the way that it is with the tree kicks and the rocks, you just never know. Oh, right off the
goodness.
top. Good. Luckily, it didn't roll away too far.
Yeah, accuracy is definitely at a premium on a course like this. Anytime you're off the fairway, it's really just a matter of finding your way back into a position where you can minimize the damage. Even if it means taking a bogey, you don't want it to turn into that double or even a triple out here, which can happen so easily.
Yeah.
With all the kicks you can take out here.
Definitely. Another turbo. I like her turbo.
Very nice.
I don't know what you would call that, the bull horns turbo or whatever.
We played with a guy not too long, this past weekend.
Yeah.
That was doing that on all of his putts. Yeah.
That's my preferred turbo method if I have to turbo.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you do turbo, what's your grip? Or how are you turboing?
Yeah. And what disc?
Yeah. Hole 16, a par 4 at an even 500 feet. Initially off the gap here, you're just wanting something straight that's going to, again, minimize your fade left or right. You want to be as close to center as you can on this initial tee shot. Your secondary shot here has to beat this left-hand side gauntlet of trees that kind of frames up your primary fairway. Heading into this green, which does have a couple of trees and a nice little rock formation, which if you do miss your putts here can lead to some minor rollaways, but can make for a nervy putt.
So I sit here and watch the drone preview of the holes. I think about when we actually played the course and just the difficulty in finding the fairway and being able to penetrate it and not end up off to the left or the right and having a good secondary shot.
I really like this shot from Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
Pushes up there a little further past Emily. She gets a little bit of a more of a skip to the left, but there are some gaps there which can help kind of guide your next shot towards the green. And Michelle, I like this too, staying on that right side.
She got a kick by that root or rock or whatever it is, but it kicked her out to the center, so she'll still have a clear path to approach the basket.
Yeah, she's right in the center of the fairway here. Has a little bit of a maybe a hyzer flip up towards it.
Oh dear.
She's yanked it a little bit to the right. Oh, she almost got away with it.
She almost did.
Looked like that classic rocking and just flipped up nicely, but just pushed a little bit too far to the right.
Emily's thinking about which route she wants to take.
I'm guessing she's going to throw that high kind of hyzer there that she's been throwing on these shots. Oh, she's pushing a little wider.
She may have been trying to go for a little skip action.
Yeah. She gets caught up there on that right-hand side, so she'll be playing for par at best from there. Maybe getting a little aggressive, looking at the scores, thinking she can kind of widen that gap a little more. She's going for a little more on that shot. Big high spike hyzer here from Margaret. Gets her back into the middle.
Yep. And that was my concern about both of those drives off the tees, that they were how far left they were. It kind of blocked them out from being able to proceed and attack the basket. They really had to go into scramble mode.
Beautiful touchy approach there from Michelle. Margaret will lay up for her par.
Emily with a good bid.
She's running those, man.
Yeah.
Like she's been all over it all day.
I mean, I think with her putting style, it's okay to run them. She doesn't end up too far away, and then she does have the confidence to hit anything that does happen to sneak away.
Yeah. Cleaning up the par there. As did Margaret, and Michelle will do the same.
What was that?
I don't know. Just caught that left side chain. Looked a little... Didn't look like her normal putt.
It didn't.
But there you see, no movement as everybody pars out.
Moving into hole 17. This is an iconic hole here, par 5, playing at 680 feet of generous fairway for comparison against the course. Even if you're off to the left or right, you still have alleys to proceed up the fairway. You want to get your second or third shot up here to the landing area so that you can actually attack the green. The green is on this mound, elevated with trees, not just around it, but also on the green. Ooh, Emily hits a early one and then a second one that kind of pushes her back. She's behind that big tree, but she'll not be as punished as she could have been.
This looks pretty good from Margaret there.
That
Flexing
is.
it back over, and that's pretty
fairway.
much in the meat of the fairway there.
Yeah, she'll definitely have options.
Traditionally, this is one of the hardest holes on the course. It actually didn't play as the hardest hole. It's kind of middle of the pack, surprisingly, this first round.
Michelle with her spin.
Wonder how much of that has to do with the fact that we have such a smaller field, and a lot of these ladies have played this course before and know this hole pretty well, know how to attack it and kind of avoid the big numbers on it.
I don't know what blizzard disc that is that she's throwing, if that's her katana or something, but she goes to it a lot and has a lot of control with it when she gets a hold of it correctly.
I believe it is her katana. But she's in great position so far. Margaret staying in the middle of the fairway the entire
After two
flight.
shots, that is exactly where you want to be. Emily a little off to the right. She still should have some alleys to attack.
Pushing that right side, looking for some fade back to the middle.
That is fine too. When it comes to attacking the green, you can attack it from all sides. It's just you're gonna have to select what gap you actually want to get through to get up there.
flexing up there, and she's up with a birdie look on this hole.
That was great, and that tree helped her stay up top so she doesn't have to change elevations with her putt. Emily going with her glow disc that she's been forehanding. I can't tell if she stayed up top or if she
might
is
be
on the side.
On that side hill there behind that tree. We'll see how her look is. Margaret pushing this right side, wanting us to stick on the top, and does.
And it is a little deeper up top the further you go back, so if you aim for the back, you're more likely to have a level putt. Oh.
Just a little short there. Hard to get any kind of momentum when you're up on the side of a hill like that.
Yeah. She gave it a good bid, though. Definitely had the line. You have Margaret coming back. Oh, she said... Okay, it stayed up top. When she said stop, I thought it was rolling down the hill.
This is for birdie here. For Michelle. And converts.
Nice bird.
Yeah! First one of the round. Nicely done. Never too late. Never yet.
Birdie on 17 is something to definitely be proud of. Not very many. In fact, the only birdie of the day for the women's field was that one that we just saw by Michelle Frazer.
So Margaret's going to tap in for a par, and Emily's going to take her first bogey on the back.
Wow, that's impressive that she's made it this far without bogeying anything so far on the back. Alright, we have a daunting finishing hole. Hole 18 is a par 4 at 580 feet. Initially, your tee shot wants to land somewhere just around this tree line here, setting up for a very tight turning right to left secondary shot here, heading into a green that is protected by boulders and more rocks and trees. Definitely a difficult hole. 4 here is great. A 5 here honestly is not that bad.
There's the spin.
Spin count up to 2 so far for the round.
No, that's 3.
That's the third spin for her?
Yeah.
And that is so ideal.
Combining the headache with the 360s.
She's pushed past that initial tree line that we talked about on the drone footage there. Margaret getting this one a little bit further to the right than she would have liked.
Come back a little bit. It stays over to the right, but she still may have some room to attack from there.
Emily putting a nice move on this one. That's going to stay right. Gets a little help from the trees there, and she'll have a pretty open look for her second shot as well. This is a hole that you just want to kind of cut into pieces. Just want, all right, I need 280 here. I need another 250 on the secondary shot. I need an easy jump proud approach on my third. That one a little bit further off to the left, but she should still have a pretty clean look to get up and down for the par. Oh, no.
As you can see from where she was, that was just a daunting shot to try to execute. And here she is with that disc again. Oh, finding a late tree.
Late tree there, but you can see she was in perfect position off of the drive, but the second shot is still not easy. You have to execute a high-level shot. This is what makes hole 18 so hard and such a great finishing hole.
Like you said, you have to break it down into pieces, and if one of those pieces slightly comes apart, you have to readjust your plan.
Not a bad result there on the end of that shot there for Margaret.
Emily has a open look here. Well, as open as it can be. Oh,
man.
I honestly didn't realize how close that tree was. Michelle's going to slide up. Emily pitching over the rocks, putting it right next to the basket. Margaret's the last one to approach the green here. She may give this a bid.
Oh,
And she
the
did.
4th time she's hit the ban on these long approach putts. Michelle with the par, beautifully done. Fantastic.
Finishing with a headache.
Yeah, fantastic drive.
Emily types in for her bogey.
Margaret, the same. Michelle Frazer had the only par on this hole,
Wow.
as it played .83 over par.
Wow. Like you said, a good finishing hole here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little separator.
Let's see, speaking of separation, 6 strokes between Emily and her card mates. We see what the leaderboard looks like and what we'll have into round 2. Michelle Frazer will be joining us again, along with Eden Fornoff and Emily Hanson, with a 2-stroke lead so far on the field. Thanks so much for checking out round 1 of the Birdie Open. We will have round 2 coming your way. Check us out on all of our social medias at Ace Run Pro. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/AceRunPro. Help support more coverage like this. We will see you for round 2 of the Birdie Open.